On today's podcast, I am joined by my son, Shaan. He's going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to be an 11-year-old who's eating in the world and in my house. I'm sure he'll provide us with lots of insightful information and hopefully not share all of the family secrets. Welcome to Feeding the Family with Dr. Kristin, where we help you navigate the challenges of feeding your family and learn about the role food plays in our health and relationships. Feeding and food relationships can be stressful, confusing, and even destructive. I'm Kristin, a pediatrician and mother of 4 who's been researching and sharing what I've learned about feeding for over 10 years. In this podcast, I'll share my experience and expertise to help our kids and ourselves with everyday survival tips for real parents. This podcast is about progress, not perfection. So let's get started. Welcome back to Feeding the Family with Dr. Kristin. I'm your host, Kristin, and I am here today with a very special guest. I'm here with my son, Shaan. We talk a lot on the show about feeding kids, so I thought, let's talk to my kids about food and feeding. Thanks for joining us, Shaan.
I'm just happy to be here. I was honestly very nervous when you told me to try this, and I guess I tried anyway, and I'm still nervous.
Well, don't be nervous. This is just going to be fun. So for our listeners that may not know you very well, can you tell them a little bit about yourself, how old you are, what grade you're in, things like that?
Yeah, I am 11 years old. I'm in 5th grade, and I'm her second child.
Yep. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 2 brothers, 1 sister, and I am the second, and we also have a ton of cousins.
That's right.
We have a huge family.
What kind of stuff do you like to do for fun?
We play a lot of football and basketball, which is always fun.
Mm-hmm.
We play chess a lot too, and I think we just spend a lot of time also just watching TV and hanging out.
That's
right.
Are
all fun times.
Yeah, I would say we always describe you as our bounciest child. We call you Tigger sometimes. Shaan is constantly on the move. So when we say we do spend time hanging out on the couch watching TV, you're usually not. You're usually bouncing
sitting
around.
Well, typically I'm on the edge of the couch.
That's true.
Walking across the end.
That's right. So you're a mover for sure. So obviously we're going to talk a little bit about food today. Mm-hmm. So can you walk us through what is a typical day of eating for you? What do you usually eat in a day?
So I usually will eat probably some sort of breakfast that'll be probably pretty big. I love breakfast. I'm a very big morning person, and I just really enjoy breakfast. So I eat a big breakfast, then I have a light lunch, and then we always have a really delicious dinner, and it's always different. So no matter what, we have a good dinner, and we change it up every night, so I think that's really fun.
What about, so you said breakfast is your favorite meal. What's your least favorite meal during the day?
Lunch, that's probably because I have a light lunch. I don't really love lunch, which is kind of ironic because so do my older brother. Hates breakfast, loves lunch, loves dinner.
And you usually get school lunch, right?
I do usually get school lunch. They do a really good job at our school of coming up with lunches. They did even better somehow 2 years ago, and they made it so now they have incredible meals, and it feels even weird because people are like, oh man, I miss the old meals. They were so good, and these meals are still delicious.
Still delicious, but you that's your lighter meal.
Yeah, it's the lightest meal I have in a day.
That makes sense. So what does a family meal look like at our house? Can you kind of describe dinner? What does dinner look like usually?
We sit around a circular table, and we just kind of have conversations, and we eat throughout the conversation. We ask each other how our day was, and we see what was the best thing about each other's day. We used to do this even more. We used to ask highs and lows, and unexpected is something that we added to that. So it's just really fun to just talk with each other, and it drives my brother crazy that my dad's always like, isn't it great how we spend time together, so much time together? Drives my younger brother crazy how much he says that.
But what's your favorite part of family meals at our house?
It's definitely just talking while we eat, because I guess eating just adds like a special element to that changes it up just a little bit. It makes it a little bit more fun.
What about if there was anything you could change about meals at our house? What would it be?
Anything I could change? That's
Yeah.
kind of hard because it's just like everything's really great, and I feel like if I took something away, I would miss it like almost the day afterward. So I don't know if there's much I would change. Maybe like I don't even know. During dinner, we all like sit around. We all just have a moment, and then we just like try to make each other laugh a little bit more. And we already do. Just
Yeah.
even make it. I don't even know. Somehow try to make it funnier.
Oh, like maybe bringing a joke to dinner?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
that
man.
sounds great. Actually.
Yeah, I don't know if I've shared how obsessed I am with corny jokes, but that's like an ongoing thing in our family. I'm always looking for new corny jokes.
Remember when you found that packet of corny jokes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a whole packet of corny jokes, and so it was like one after another, and everyone was rolling their eyes because I was like laughing so hard at every
laughing
single one
way
of the
too
corny jokes. Totally true. Okay, I'm going to change gears a little bit. What is your current favorite food?
I knew you would ask that, and I was just thinking about it actually like a little while ago, and I was just like, what is my favorite food? And it's just really hard for me to actually pick one food that I really enjoy.
But like right now, because I'm with you. Like when people ask me that question, I do not know what to say because there's a ton of foods I really love. But like once in a while, I feel like, but right now I'm really into X. So like, is there something that you're really more into right now?
Right now, I feel like my favorite meal is probably like meal in general is like steak with like mashed potatoes.
Ooh, yeah.
It's just like a very nice combo.
Uh-huh. And how do you order your steak?
Medium rare.
And what's your favorite kind of steak?
I like fillets.
Oh, me too. Me too. We're good restaurant splitters too. I know you and me like to order. We try to get like a fancy meal, like a surf and turf, but we
split it.
Yeah, you're my favorite meal splitter. What right now is a food that you are like not into? So if it ended up at dinner or somebody offered it to you, you'd be like, no thanks.
This is a meal that's like very generic that everyone's gonna be like, what the heck? I don't like salad right now. I just have not been feeling it. I like vegetables like themselves. Like I love broccoli like a lot, especially when you roast it. But I just haven't really been feeling salad in general. Like with
Interesting.
ranch, I feel like ranch has so many better options to be with.
Right? Oh, that's like kind of like very controversial to say in Omaha.
I know.
Ranch is like king here.
Ranch, no, I think ranch is delicious, but I feel like it has so many better options than salad.
Oh, I got you.
I feel like no one puts it with like their chicken fingers, and I love it with chicken fingers. It's the best combo.
I'm with you. Interesting. Well, do you think that's because for a while you were getting salads at school all the time, weren't you?
That was because, so in 5th grade, you get to start using a soup and salad bar at my school. Mm-hmm. So I would get the soup and salad just because it was the fastest way to get lunch, and that way I had more time to eat. Because one of the big problems is that we don't get too much time to eat.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, actually, from you guys, but I've heard that from a lot of kids. Like, that's a struggle. That's too bad.
So I got the soup and salad, especially because I love soups. They're like one of my favorite meals ever. And so I would just get the soup and salad, and I would start eating the salad a lot more. And I think that's what kind of actually made me dislike it a lot, because I ate it so much because I just want to get through that line and be able to eat. And I love soups, and I was okay with salads. So now I'm starting to get into like a little bit of a phase, I guess, where I don't want my salad.
Yeah, kind of in a rut. I think that makes sense. I get that way too. Like some foods I love, but then you eat it too much. And that's good to know, because I would say we have salad almost every day at dinner. So maybe we switch it up a little bit, knowing you're in kind of a salad rut right now. So here's a question. How do you think the way that you eat has changed as you've gotten older? Because you're an older kid now.
I feel like how it's changed is portion sizes and what I like to eat. Because I remember like being in kindergarten and only wanted to eat like chicken fingers. Mm-hmm. And then I remember being in like 3rd grade where I wanted to eat everything. And now I'm at like a stage where I just like, there's things that I want to leave to the side and then come back and eat later.
Yeah.
But the stuff that I love, I want to eat like unlimited amounts of.
Yeah. Well, I think that, you're 11, you're kind of getting into that like more adolescent growth spurt stage of life. And I've definitely noticed you'll have some meals where you just sit and really, you're clearly very hungry, like your appetite's increasing in spurts.
Yeah.
So I think that I've definitely noticed that about you too. And then the other thing I was going to ask you, you were the kid that always, I've told this story actually about you on the podcast before, is like you were the kid that I couldn't get to eat formula because you would just spit it out immediately, like you didn't like the taste. And you've always had, or when you were younger especially, you kind of had this dislike, or you didn't seem to prefer foods that were more creamy, or in particular the one that like really was notable was cheese.
I still don't like it.
I know. So can you walk us through your relationship with cheese over the years?
So my problem with cheese is I just haven't. So I tried to get better at it, and I'm like eating more cheese meals, which actually you don't even know this. I ordered like grilled cheeses for lunch, and I finished one. I didn't love it. It was okay though. And then my problem with cheese is that it's like creamy of a texture, and I hate when things are like creamy or have something that you expect, and then they're like salty actually. So like with like there was like this one steak I tried, and it was like sweeter, and I hated that because it's not what you expect from a steak. When you want a steak, I don't want it sweet. So like when I expect like a creamy texture that I can like feel, I don't want it like salty. I expect that to be like a sweeter type thing.
Got it. But like you said, so you've started to eat, I've noticed it too, that you start to eat more and more cheese. And it hasn't really been something that we've tried to push on you, but it seems like something that over the years you've just gotten more and more into it. In terms of it's still definitely not your favorite food.
No.
And I am very surprised to learn that you ordered a grilled cheese at school. Like, what? But what has that taught you about trying foods, or about food, kind of the way that your outlook on cheese and things like that has changed?
So with cheese, I've personally been trying to like it because there's so many things in life that have cheese on them, and then
some of the
don't
best
like
things I think,
like pizza. Pizza is great. I like pizza, but like there's some meals that I like are like a cheeseburger. The cheese is better for like that first taste that I have, and then I don't like because there's only cheese left. So that's the one problem I have with like cheeseburgers. So I really want to get better at it so I can enjoy that first flavor. But like, yeah, I feel like cheese is like that thing that's kind of taught me that you got to keep trying for a food. Like with meatloaf, I remember me, my brothers, my sister, we used to hate meatloaf.
You did.
Like a ton. And you guys, I felt like you guys kept pushing it. I don't know if you were intentionally doing this.
We kept making it.
You kept, either way. I
Dad really likes meatloaf, so it stayed in the rotation.
We had it once a week at least.
You think?
I mean, yeah,
It probably seemed like it. Maybe.
I mean, I was much younger, so I could have been just crazy. But like, and then we started eating it more and more, and like we tried it with like ketchup, and we started to like that, and then we started eating it without ketchup a little bit more and more, and now it's a meal that like I enjoy.
Yeah, it's cool how that can just kind of having it be a part of your normal rotation can kind of help you get to like things more and more. I think you're a good example of how that can happen.
Yeah.
With meatloaf and cheese and lots of other stuff, I think too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the other thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is cooking, because you like to cook.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
It's like building something to me, and I really want to be an engineer when I grow up, so like they both seem very appealing to me. So when you build it, you have the fun and enjoyment of building it, but then when you're done, you get like the satisfaction of it being done, and then with cooking, you also get to eat it. So like it's triple win for me.
I
it's
love
very
that.
fun.
Yeah. And what is the very best thing that you ever cooked?
I think my favorite thing to cook is ice cream.
Oh, yeah. You're recently into ice cream, and I fully support this.
Yeah, it's not been panning out when I'm trying to churn it lately, but I feel like that's part of the fun, like trying it out, making it new, try to make it work out for you. I feel like that's part of the fun of cooking and why I want to be an engineer.
Yeah, just sort of the trial and error and seeing how things work and figuring it out. And I think that's a good point, too, because even with your ice cream, we got you kind of that ice cream churner that you put on the stand mixer. And even that, mechanically figuring out how that all works, you've really kind of put in a lot of time getting that figured out to try to perfect your ice cream flavors.
Well, I want it to taste good.
Me too. I think you're pretty famous, though. Also, you make a pretty good bread pudding.
I knew you were
You're really good. Well, that one, outstanding. What about, have you had any flops? Anything that comes to mind?
Okay.
Cooking failures?
I think you would think of this one too, but I tried to make you a cake, and I really wanted to go far with this one, and I was just really excited, and I was like forgetting to put in ingredients, like I was making rookie mistakes. Well, I had like cooked like, I don't even know, like 20 cakes in the past, and this one I was making like so many mistakes, and this was a bad time to try a new buttercream. It was a bad time. I wanted to try Swiss meringue, and it did not pan out well. So that was very frustrating. That was the one time that, like, in recent memories that I can think of.
That was kind of a flop.
Where it was just failure.
It still tasted good, and I don't know. I appreciated the effort, but I think it does seem like that's something that happens when, I know for me, like, you get excited and you really want something to be good, and sometimes when you get overly excited and emotional about it, you start to make silly mistakes. But
yeah,
it wasn't beautiful, but it was very lovable. What is your least favorite job in the kitchen?
Okay, you know these ones, though.
Well, I think I know. But, I mean, you're eating grilled cheese behind my back. I didn't even know.
So we all have to do, like, the dishes. And we have, like, a rotation of cleaning. So that's everyone's least favorite. Well, one of my least favorite parts about that is all the water that gets sprayed on you when you're, like, washing the dishes. Like, if that didn't happen, I feel like it would be a much more enjoyed job by me. Because, like, I don't really mind, like, scrubbing off the dishes and things like that. My main problem is when I'm trying to get it into the dishwasher and there's, like, many different gaps in there that could fit that if they were together. But you have to, like, do rearrangement. And then when, like, all the water just squirts on you, all this, like, dirty water just squirts on you when you're, like, washing a spoon or, like, a bowl.
Spoons will get you every time. But that's like an engineering project.
Yeah.
See, I'm just trying to help you with your future career to get those dishes in there properly.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, here's a question. What about, do you notice that your friends or kids in your class eat differently than you do?
So I feel like me and some of my friends eat very similarly, but some of them do eat differently. Like one of my friends, he just doesn't eat lunch really at all. And, like, he doesn't even eat, like, meat. He's vegan. And then he takes breaks every now and then from being vegan. And so that's interesting. But he is most of the time vegan, so, like, it's not like he's just like, I'm vegan, then eats a bite of meat. I'm vegan again.
Yeah, right.
and then, like, one of my friends is, like, vegetarian. But him and me seem to eat a lot of the same things when I eat, like, a vegetarian meal, which isn't, like, uncommon. I will eat vegetarian meals every now and then, and even closer than that, probably. Like, we both loved soup, so, like, at the beginning of the year, we would both get the same meal, and we would taste it together.
Yeah.
So we got both, like, broccoli cheddar, and then we waited and we counted to 3, and then we both tasted it.
Do like a taste test together?
Exactly.
I like it.
Like, so it was like really fun. So, like, a lot of us do eat the same. There's only 7 boys, so a lot of us is like 4 people.
You have a small class, yeah.
A lot of us is 4 people,
Yeah.
Basically. But some of us do eat differently, and I don't think anyone really minds that. No one really cares. People might be, like, a little curious for a second, but then they'll just live their normal life.
What about, how do you hope to feed your family when you grow up and you're an adult?
I think basically the same way that you guys feed us, because it's just really nice to be able to, like, put input on a meal but also know that you don't have to every time, and it'll still be a great meal.
I like that. What do you think will be the hardest part about feeding a family when you're a grown-up?
Definitely having time to like think of it and actually do it, because like when I'm an adult, I feel like there's going to be a lot of things I have to do. Like I have to like work a job to gain money, then I have to like go to the grocery store and like I don't even like, get all the ingredients of the meal I chose to make, if I even had time to like plan for the meal, you know, and then I might have to like pick up kids or something, and then I have to rush home and make a meal.
I feel like this story's resonating with a lot of moms and dads right now.
I just don't. Well, I'm honestly like scared of that of running out of time, because I really like to make like delicious food. I enjoy to do that, but if like the food's not good enough, I don't like that. I hate that. That's something I don't like when I make food, when it just hasn't worked out well.
Yeah. Well, so I'm sure you'll do great.
It'd be frustrating for me, even if they like it. It'd be kind of frustrating if I think I could have done better.
I totally get that. All right, I have one last question.
Okay.
So we have a lot of parents that listen to this podcast. So what advice do you have for parents for feeding an 11-year-old boy?
So I don't know if this is going to be like really simple for a parent, because obviously I'm not an adult. But for the 11-year-old, the way I see it, if they're not liking a food and like they haven't liked it for a while, just like give them it a few times. Not so much where they like hate it, but like give it to them just enough. Because like with cheese, I started like we'd have meals where you would accidentally forget to put one without cheese, and I would eat it anyways. And I'd eat that like a few times, and then it kind of made it in my brain to like force myself to eat more cheeses, and now I don't hate it anymore. So I feel like even though they might not like it, if they don't like a food, and like if they don't like every food, then that's a problem in itself.
Yeah.
But if they like don't like a few foods in particular, just like casually make it just a few times.
Like just kind of keep it around, keep offering it, but not like forcing them to eat it.
Because that's going to make them not want to do it.
Definitely.
Yeah, but just like keep it around. And then I feel like they hopefully will try to enforce it to themselves. Like that's what happened with me. And I don't know if everyone's not the same. But I think this is like a good way to keep your child healthy and to keep them a foodie.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't mean keep every food with that on it. Like still give a variety. And I think that's another good point with your 11-year-old. Don't give them the same thing each time. But a variety is really important.
I think that was excellent advice. Thank you so much for joining us, Shaan. This was super fun.
This was really fun, yeah.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Feeding the Family. I hope you enjoyed Shaan's tips for feeding 11-year-olds and the other great information he provided. If you're enjoying our episodes, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and we will see you here next week.
See ya.